Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Awaken the World. Today we present part 3 of the 8 limbs of yoga, asana, the third limb. How are you? How is everyone this afternoon? Hello, Jennifer. We know you were there. We were chatting earlier, or Kelly was, and I had put a comment in there, and that's the big white thing there. Yeah, Jennifer, that's absolutely true. Life would be different if we didn't meditate. Let me tell you, I don't know if I'd be around. I might be in jail or dead. And of course, Kelly was told it was satanic, so, you know, yeah, so great. Hello, Cindy. How are you doing? Funny you walked right in right during the satanic thing. So Kelly and I were talking about imps last night because she says to me, she says, you know, you kind of are an imp. You really are an imp. And I said, well, it's true. There's a little devil in everyone. And I said, that gives me a great idea. So we're going to have a great video on Tuesday, and you'll have to look at the post for that one. I'm not going to say it out loud. You guys will just have to take a look. So before we get into the third limb of yoga, asana, I just want to say thank you so much for doing the meditation with me this morning on the Help Awaken channel. I really enjoyed the meditation, personally. I felt, as I do always with those sort of meditations, just, you know, vibrant shivers of beingness flowing through, like the connection becomes so real and so physical. And it truly does enliven the being. And thank you all so much for taking part. When we come together like that, we serve each other. We raise the vibration of each other. We take the space that we see between us and we collapse it down to nothing. So we're all in the same place. So yeah, no kidding. Hey, Cindy. Oops, do I want to share that one? That's going to raise some heads, you know, and to be honest, I know I'm going to get some comments about it too, and that's okay. It's actually not quite what you think, but it's going to be really, really good, actually, and a little lighthearted too. I try and interject a little bit of humor into everything. So before we begin, though, if you'll bear with me for 4 minutes, I took my camera and I shot a tiny little 4-minute video. Like I said, I actually finished off the pond area yesterday, and I knew everyone was really interested in seeing the finished product. So I thought I would take you on a quick little video walk. So I apologize if you find this boring for the next 4 minutes. Bear with me and enjoy. Good morning, everyone. Garhen here. Just wanted to give you all a look at our little place. This is not an egoic thing, this is not pride. This is the example of what happens when you do not pay attention to what you see in front of you and you realize it is the product of old thoughts, old words, old deeds, old modes of being. When we moved in here, this place was trashed completely. Subfloors wrecked, the whole 9 yards. And I want to just show you what we've managed to do and give you a little place about where we live our lives, a little bit of a introduction as to where we live our lives and how we choose to create our home atmosphere to support the atmosphere we try and bring you on the Awaken the World page. So here it is. Well, so sorry for the video moving around, but this is our living room space. And as you know, it's a little difficult to see with all the the greenery, but we absolutely love living in and amongst the plants, and that is our main balcony out there, which we'll take a look at in a minute, and plant central over here by the kitchen, and of course we have many more plants throughout the house, and there's the little center where all the magic happens and all the fun is. So I do that right here so that Kelly and I can be in the same space. We love being together, so it's never an issue. Okay, outside we go. We're going to take the walk. So this balcony, you couldn't even stand on it when we moved in. I had to pretty much redo everything.
and you'll see the flowers. And the little bit of grass we have left, I'm working on putting new beds in there and getting rid of that as well. Our little deck fountain, again, done with no chemicals at all. And of course the yard that you've seen a few times that we've been really working on. So yesterday was my birthday, and my birthday gift to Kelly was to get her to allow me to finish the yard. Took about an extra $150, but it was well worth it. This is a beautiful little maple that will turn red in the fall and produce beautiful smelling flowers in the spring. And of course this is the walk now, so I'll take you on the walk. I planted these small emerald cedars, which are actually indigenous to the area and nice and hardy. And they're not going to grow too big. I'm only going to keep them at about 3 feet to provide some extra shade for the bird pond. That's a little bird pond moon pool, and it dumps into the main pond. And we come walking through here, and the flowers, and of course Buddha. Absolutely. Beautiful story. If you haven't seen it, see the Buddha series on Netflix. You will not regret it. 54 episodes long. And the net and the fish are actually in there. I don't know if you can see them in the, but we have the net on to give them a little extra protection. And then we take the walk around the back end of the deck. And the plum tree, this is the plum tree's second year, and it's doing fantastic. And then this year, we usually have full gardens, but this year, because we're doing all this renovating, we only have our little back end garden here. And it's been feeding us kale, rhubarb, spinach, onions, and strawberries for weeks now. And then the stairs up to the parking area. But, you know, our view is magnificent when we're down here. We're surrounded by trees. That's all you see, and this magnificent hedge, and more trees, and more trees, and then just a little bit of the house in the distance. So it is truly a wonderful, beautiful place, and it is so important to make yourself, to whatever end you can, a holy place. And this looks like a whole lot of money, but honestly, it really wasn't. We did all the work ourselves, we collected the rock ourselves, we managed to get most of the plants ourselves. And you can love your place into whatever it is, no matter where you live. I've done this in monastic quarters, where I've put a pond in the monastery just to liven everything up for everybody. So we really hope you enjoyed this, and a little beautiful, peaceful look at our space. And I guess one more thing, this is a shameless plug for the wind chime company, but I have to tell you, there's a profound difference in wind chimes, and these are the ones you want to buy. Right here. Can you see that? Woodstock chimes, Woodstock healing chimes, and the sound is incredible. It's just this incredibly beautiful sound that they make. So you can imagine the feeling of peace we get out on our deck and in our space. And it is this peace we wish to help transmit to you as well. Much love and namaste. Have a wonderful day.
So I hope the audio came through okay on that, and that everyone was able to enjoy that. That is our little space. I think I've done enough work for this year. I'm taking a break, so I wanted to share that with everyone. Sooner or later, I'm going to find a way to get some meditations going out there on the deck. I may record them with the camera, as the audio was pretty good, and we'll see what happens, and then we'll maybe live stream some meditations with that in it as well. So today we're going to talk about the third limb of yoga. And the third limb of yoga is known as asana. And a lot of people think that asana is the word for posture. And yes, it can mean posture. But this is not really what a sauna is about. There is a much deeper, more profound meaning that applies in every aspect of our day, in every aspect of our existence. And it relates directly, yeah, bring a chair, Cindy, absolutely. Any of you, you guys ever get up here, bring a chair. We have the tea and the cool drinks. You'll have to bring your own chairs. So, you know, and this relates in every aspect of our lives, and it really, really does. The thank you, Jennifer. You know, Kelly will tell you how many hours, but I spent hours out there not thinking about it, just letting the vision form. And then I just followed the picture in my head. So it turns out I'm not bad in the backyard with the yard either. So I'm really pleased because I wanted to give Kelly a really special place. She's always wanted a pond in her yard. It's been a dream. So I wanted to make that dream happen. So as I said, a sauna, yeah, we ate the pie last night on the deck. So as I said, more importantly, a sauna is about seat. And when we're talking about seat, this relates directly to what I've been talking to before about how our body's energy matrix, that which we would call the body, which is an energetic being, it is not a physical being. It is an energetic being. It is all energy. The seat is the seat of your energetic being. Why? Because that seat never ever lives in any other state but constant, harmonious truth of being. That's why every time you start thinking thoughts that are negative, your body reacts. That is why every time you think positive thoughts, your body reacts. That is why when someone with a negative vibratory feeling to them steps into the room, your body responds to that. And then your mind will catch up to that response. You'll feel something's off. This all really comes down to seat. And this is the most important part of the third limb of yoga. It does not have anything to do with the postures. I want to be clear about that. This applies to all of your existence. And here's what it is. Can you find yourself in every situation well seated, steady and still, but relaxed? And whenever we're out dealing with people, whenever we're in the public or whenever we're in situations where something may be going on that we don't agree with or that we would find ourselves pushing up against, our body will begin to relay messages to us about the state of mind we're allowing ourselves to get into. And this is the beautiful thing about carrying this into every moment of your existence, okay? Can you be steady and still in the seat of your being, seated deeply within, gazing at that candle, watching that unwavering flame within, despite the tempest going on around you? It is in this space that all answers, all communication, all steadiness of being arise. The Sanskrit is sthira sukham asanam. And there's been a lot of really funky definitions of this come up, okay? And, you know, Patanjali, I think if we were to look back at what he really, really meant here, to me, in my experience, is he was talking about the steadiness, stillness, and ease to which your being moves about, no matter what you're doing in your everyday existence. So for those who do practice yoga, and I've been a long-term practitioner myself now, I've been teaching yoga for about 23 years altogether, I would ask you this. Are you steady and still and at ease in every single yoga pose that you take part in? I would ask this of all those who do not do yoga. Are you steady, still, and at ease in every aspect of your existence? The third limb of yoga is an awareness limb. It is a limb of getting in touch with the body's energetic field. The body communicates to us. It warns us in advance when we're heading down the wrong trail. It warns us when we're approaching a swamp or a bramble path that we don't have to go down. And it also gives us the answers as to how we can deal with the things that we need to deal with. It lets us know when we try to move, when we exercise, when we flow from one posture to another. It makes us aware of where we're allowing things to get stuck within our being, where we're not letting go, where we're pushing up against. And this is the beauty of the third limb of yoga. What the postures do for you, and you know, I've spoken about this before, the postures are a tiny portion. You know, there's 8 limbs, this is one of them. And it's not even the first limb or the second limb. It's actually the third limb. The postures, more importantly, the seat of your being, it allows you to stay present. Your body is this magnificent tool, this gift you've been given that allows you to stay right here in the moment. And how does that happen? We possess senses. We possess these beautiful interfaces into the physical realm. Without those senses, we would have no interface. Our being may be here, but we would have no awareness of that. No vision, no hearing, no touch, no smelling, none of those sort of things. These senses, when we are in the right posture of being, and here we're talking more about the way you sit, we're talking about the posture of your being, how you view yourself, how you hold yourself, how you move yourself through your existence. Your senses and every aspect of your body are talking to you all the time. Come back to the present moment. Stay here with us in the present moment. We can use the posture itself to stay present, and this is especially valuable when we're meditating. You know, I had a yoga teacher long after Iyengar who I had went and seen for a little different level of certification. And we were talking one day, and he said something so profound to me. He said, you know, if you engage in any one of the senses while you're meditating, without labeling, that sense will keep you 100% in attentive focus. And you should always approach that seat, that place where you're going to come to your higher being with a sense of reverence. And that's one of the reasons why we sit up erect, or we lay down with our spine comfortable and yet following its natural curve. We want to be erect, aware, and realize that we are approaching the feet of our own higher being. It is a holy place to be. It really is. Well, you know, why do we practice yoga? And I encourage everyone to practice yoga postures for sure. Develop yourself, or let me know what kind of issues you have and how your mobility is, and we'll talk about some little programs, or we'll do a video on one. But do engage in some yoga with yourself. And keep in mind, yoga is mind, body, and spirit all together. The body is only one aspect of that. We are, as I said, a union when we're here in this physical realm. There is the perception of a mind, There is the higher consciousness, the spirit, and then there is the perception of a physical body, this energetic emanation. It is a union of these three, a union of three different vibrational states of being that has to come together and function in harmony with each other. And many times throughout our lives, either the mind or the body will begin to fall out of place. The spirit never does. The spirit's that shining beacon, that lighthouse that is never extinguished. It is only the body and it is only the mind that sometimes lose sight. And you know, the body, it's transient. It's going to come and it's going to go. What we do with our body while we're here can have a profound effect on our awakening, a profound effect on our physical health. And if you talk to the Taoists say, without a healthy body, enlightenment is far, far away. Look after your health of being. Don't beat yourself up if you're not that healthy now. There's a million good things you can do for yourself. And it begins with loving yourself in no matter what state you're in. And absolutely, Cindy, it is a trinity. Mind, body, and spirit. You know, and we're going to talk a little more about how the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost actually speaks of that. The Father, the higher being. The Son, the consciousness that interprets that message, and then through the consciousness of the universe produces the Holy Ghost, the remnant in the physical world that immediately begins to fall apart the minute we take our attention off it. Why? So we can create again. Yoga in the West has become a little bit disappointing to me, and I'm watching inside of myself to see if I'm a little bit jaded, and perhaps I am, just a tiny bit. But I have found that yoga, and especially the physical aspect of yoga, has turned into how you look. It has been Lululemoned to death. Yoga is about working in harmony with the trinity of tools we have, as Cindy says. The trinity of being. Spirit is always waiting for us. Spirit is always speaking to us, never forcing anything. It knows it doesn't need to. We consciously identified with our sense of I, that sense of Garhen, for example, or Kelly, or Jennifer, or Cindy. That is the inner being, or the consciousness that thinks it is. And then we have that body manifestation, which responds to both. And the balance that is created between the three of them determines how we experience our daily lives. What would you look for in a yoga class? I would go to some free ones at a community center. The reason being is they're going to be beginner classes for the most part. And they're going to be exactly what you're looking for. They're going to be small sessions that'll range between 25 and 45 minutes, which will include some floor poses, perhaps some standing poses, and some additional floor work, as well as some meditation, as well as some time laying in corpse pose in savasana, and reconnecting with your sense of being. You do not need to look for poses that seem difficult. You do not need to attend a type of class that appears difficult. Yin yoga, Iyengar yoga are two of my favorites when it comes to gentle, relaxing, total trinity built yoga. Many of the other varieties of yoga can be very strenuous, very body focused, and not so much focused on the unity of being, which is the part of it that I find most beneficial. So perhaps start with a community class And what I really suggest is if you have a Gaia membership or you try a Gaia free weekend, Gaia has thousands of beautiful yoga videos, and start slow. Make it part of your daily routine, even if you take 10 or 15 minutes to engage in some yoga, to reconnect with your being. And certainly, a couple of weeks from now, I have no issues. I can shoot a little beginner yoga video, a little beginner class that anyone in the group could use, and you could put it on your TV and give it a watch and follow along. Yoga is, Cindy, that was yin, as in Y-I-N. And then Iyengar is I-Y-E-N-G-A-R. And they are both fantastic forms of yoga. There's many others. Kundalini yoga is especially vigorous. I don't recommend you start there. It's a really vigorous workout. You sweat like you've been running track. So again, yoga is not about how you look. It's not about how you look doing it. Yoga is about how you feel. Yoga is about whether you can connect that mind, body, and spirit together during the act of practicing the yoga. And yoga is designed to bring that together in a harmonious manner for you, to help assist you in that connection. I don't agree with attending yoga classes where there's blaring music or anything else and something soft in the background. Yoga is not about you getting into the pose. Yoga is about you communicating with and working with the intelligence of your body. That is the true meaning behind yoga. It is allowing us to throw off the yoke of this physical realm and be here, but no longer of here. And okay, you let the cat out of the bag. When I first met Kelly, Cindy, I got to tell you this, and boy, Kelly's not going to like it. I love this. When I first met Kelly, we started a yoga class at the big house, okay? And we had quite a few people showing up. We had an open house, had a bunch of people over, and we had regular yoga attendees. Well, after about 4 months, it began to really trickle off. And don't be afraid about the farting. Because if it doesn't happen 20 to 30 times in a 1 hour yoga period with Kelly, it's not normal. Come on, that's the truth, honey. And, it's perfectly natural. Okay, one of the things about yoga is it creates release of all sorts. Mental release, emotional release, physical release. If you've had problems with your intestines being a little twisted up, let me tell you, yoga will help that. When I met Kelly, she was incapable of burping. She would stuff so much into her being that she could not burp for the life of her. Now, after a couple of years of yoga, we go for a walk like we did this morning at 4:30 in the morning, and she'll let out a belch that would make a drunken sailor look wimpy. Never mind waking up half the neighborhood and sending flocks of birds scattering in the morning stillness. Yeah, exactly. Hey, and it's true. She had never been able to burp. So this is one of the things that yoga does for you, and this is where the love yourself really comes into it. And in this case, love my wife too. So, that was another reason why I wanted the deck outside. We're going to do yoga outside now, honey. Wait a minute. No, downwind is that way. So what do the postures do for you? The postures free prana. They free energy. They help open up the energy channels of your being. Yeah, sorry, sweetie. Deck was really for me. And all the other people who come for yoga who asked me to build it. So, yoga frees up your energy of your being, okay? We all carry things inside of us as energetic sticking points. It's like a little dissonant arrow of thought ball energy, and it'll get stuck within the energy of our being. And we can feel it in many ways. And yoga can help you make contact with it again. And one of the beautiful things about yoga is very often you will find yourself having emotional releases during yoga. Yoga can trigger that dissonant energy that we no longer want within our being, or we want to heal and reincorporate. It can trigger a release of that. And you'll feel so much more so better for it. So much better for it. One of the interesting things about yoga is that no matter what age you start, it is always a journey back to yourself. It is always a journey of reacquainting yourself with the vessel you drive around in on this planet. And through that, reacquainting yourself with your own state of mind and with your higher being. There are various yoga poses that assist in our path towards spiritual awakening, conscious awakening. But the one pose that is known above all others, that if you just practice this one pose, you will reach awakening, is to sit. Is to sit in full lotus, or as close to full lotus, as comfortable as you can be. I can't do full lotus anymore. My knees are too far gone. They've been wrecked too bad too many times. And of course, the sitting in ease, the sitting in stillness and steadiness, lead us to a still and steady mind. Lead us to that meditative state. You know, I forgot to mention again this morning, I always like to draw everyone's attention to how they feel after a meditation. To take a look inside of you and see that spaciousness, feel that stillness, hear the silence, and simply observe those random, quiet little clouds that go by as our thoughts. And that profound state of being that we enter in meditation, that resonates with us when we are done the meditation, that is our normal state of being. That is the highest self that you have available to you right now. And that is the true state of who you are day to day. It is only those small egoic views that we lay over top of that take away from that. That's really about what I have today. So if anyone has any more questions regarding yoga or about the practice of yoga, you know, a lot of people will say to me, well, you know, I have, should I see a doctor? And I would say before any exercise program, do check in with your doctor. But both of the types of yoga I've mentioned today are strenuous, but they're not strenuous through extreme movement. They're slow and steady. You spend time in the poses. And another point, yoga is not about forcing anything. It's about the body, the mind, and the spirit all meeting in that calm, still place. I know, isn't that the truth, eh? And here's the good news, Cindy. You never do leave that state, right? Awesome, Jennifer. Once you get on the mat, miracles happen. Exactly. That state of being is our highest state of being, our highest conscious self we have available to us right now. And that is always with you. It's always there. Sometimes we cover it up. Sometimes we burnish the mirror a little bit. But all it takes is a little sit down, a little bit of time polishing that mirror through meditation, and there our shining selves is again. That's really about it. So listen, I am so looking forward to Tuesday. Tuesday, we are going to talk about the satanic side of Jesus Christ, proving that there's a little devil in everyone. It's going to be really good. On Wednesday, we're going to have a Tonglen meditation again, another slightly different variation. I like to switch them up from time to time, and then you can go through and you can pick your favorites and use them as many times as you like. You know, the purpose of these is to provide you with the resources and the motivation and the desire to keep coming back and meeting yourself over and over and over again. Much love. Namaste to you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.